Everybody say, oh, oh, say, how can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Words are not enough, to say thank you. Say, Lord, you are my everything. You're my everything. How can I express my gratitude? How can I express my gratitude for all the many things Father, you done for me, yeah. Words are not enough to say thank you. So Lord, you are, you're my everything. Say, I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Eunice. You are my battle. I call you Rapha. Hey. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. You're my everything. I call you Jireh. Lord, my provider. I call you Eunice. You are my battle. I call you Rapha. You are my healer. Say, Lord, you are. You're my everything. Are you ready, everybody? All right, listen. Voy a mi gran cobra. What to say? I can breathe without you, say. I can breathe without you. I can move without you, Lord. I can move without you. Who am I without you? Who am I without you? Say, I can live without you, yeah. I can live without you. I can breathe without you, Lord. I can breathe without you. I can move without you, yeah. I can move without you. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I thinking now? Who am I thinking now? Am I thinking now? So, oh yeah. Am I thinking now? Oh yeah. Am I thinking now? So, oh yeah. Am I thinking now? Am I thinking now? My thinking now, me oh. So, oh yeah, my thinking now.
Hello. There are several questions in the community when it comes to the law, especially with immigration matters. That is why I'm inviting you to join us on the program, The Community and the Law, live on BWTV and brought to you by BWF Solicitors, our trusted partners when it comes to the law. We are going to have a very massive discussion on some of the issues of immigration matters that bother you. And they have the opportunity to meet you live on the program to explain to you all the updates that have come from the Home Office and also address your questions and concerns that you might have when it comes to the law. The Community on the Law is brought to you every Saturday between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. UK time. We're live on all social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, at BWF Solicitors, at BWTV, and of course, we urge you to share the program and invite others to join us. Remember, it's at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Saturday, live on BWTV. You have your questions. There are answers. So join us, learn, and empower yourself on the program, The Community and the Law. So pick up the phone and dial 0208 493 7345. Or you can send a text 07950 422 780. It's The Community and the Law. My name is Oreku Frimpong, and I am your host.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contested and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner, with over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
Minister OJ, Alexa Champong, and Diana Hamilton. What have you got? It can only be the return of Emmanuel Praise, brought to you by Alexa Champong Ministries. On Sunday, 26th of May at the Pavilion, 143 to 145 Oxford Road, Reading, RG1 7UY. Doors open at 5. Tickets are £30 standard, £50 VIP, which includes your VIP seat, meet and greet and take pictures with artists, VIP snacks, water and drink, and an under 18 concession rate of £15. Get yours at alexchampong.com or call +44 744 741 7321. Emmanuel Praise with Minister OJ, Akasi Brimpong, Diana Hamilton, and Alex Champo. You will be blessed.
Hey, this thing as it's on, is it not? Okay.
Hello, and a video no yeah share more one juma bibi to say restaurant takeaway bibi to say garage bibi to say fitter bibi to say air condition repairer and installer bibi to say baker bibi to say butcher bibi to say fishmonger bibi to say takeaway restaurant hairdressing dressmaker mo nyinaa no say mo pese mo apply for home office license na abema mo etimede nkofo aba UK na the here titru no say wo business na nkasa wo ye no business no edimu the abema wo business na edimu no say what prepare business no what register business no but wo plan a your friend business plan aye niema mienu aye wonim die ene wo daye so no sana wo die tintim krata so a wo pese edimu the here titru no say why ye bibi a friend cash flow forecast na no na be kire sika be ba adwumani so our business no so timi e wo say wo kire say obetimi a scale no up I kire say obetimi ama emu ado a edi akọ anim na wetimi dia fankofo home office no be pese wo computer system bi a wetimi de record nkofo atwero mu din aye sure say wetimi save documents or contracts of employment and sa niam. So we are say adwuma be a restaurant cook, we are dressmaker, we are tailor, we are fitteni, we are adwuma or car garage, we are auto mechanic, auto technician, air condition repairer, refrigerator repairer, installer. Sa nkofo ni nyina any obi or baking or baking. And now we are take away restaurant crowd. Obetimi aye na waje license bi no akofa nkofo. Advice I made ma on sema wadwuma ni ndimu. Na nkrata was also shefe adwuma no no hyehyɛ. Oni HN revenue be register for PAYE. Omo a wo be fa no. Wo be employment to be tua omoka. Was so oma lawyer a contract of employment ma. Na business people a draw be a friend of business hierarchy. A kyerɛ omo wo ho. Sa hierarchy ni na wo be kyerɛ. Nkrofo dodo a wo hia na ma be ye adwuma. Ye twato so wo ya ade a wo pese wo yes adwuma yi bi. Na afi na wa bi adwuma na. One lawyer kasa lawyer no betimi a cheche on ma obeye asa why adwuma no dada and your accountant ebeye bibia a friend of yearly accounts say aye audited na enye on aye unaudited no and ha ye here ni say adwuma no ebedimu enti say na mekan no baker fitter restaurant cook chef obi a owo onwa na adwuma ewo kromo ano obetimi agye license ni bi na wode nkrofo aba na wagye nkrofo atena. I hope say video yi eyamamo.
Hello, lovely people. Another Saturday is here with us, and we are live on BWTV, bringing you the community and the law. My name is Pamela Oakley, and I will be your host for today. This afternoon, we have a very, very interesting topic to discuss. We are going to discuss how to register your child as a British citizen. And not just how to register your child as a British citizen alone, but we're going to talk about how to register your child as a British citizen for free. So today, our guest and resource person is Charles Asma, a solicitor at BWF Solicitors. He is going to be taking us through this very interesting topic, and he's going to answer any and all kind of questions you have for him today. So before we get into today's topic, we are going to look at the nuggets and the updates we have for the week. So we are going to start with the nugget. So the nugget for this week is where an application for limited or indefinite leave to remain in the UK is made, the supporting documents must be accompanied by a valid passport or travel document. The requirement to provide an original passport or travel document is a mandatory requirement. Otherwise, the application will be rejected as invalid. However, the immigration rules outline that an applicant is not required to provide their passport if their passport is held by the Home Office at the time of the application, and that is from Section 34(5)(ci) to the immigration rules. That is the nugget for this week. We're also going to look at the update we have for this week, which is holders of EU pre-settled status will not lose their rights of residence. Now, this is really interesting and it's beneficial to everyone who has their EU pre-settled status in the UK. So the update for this week says holders of EU pre-settled status will no longer lose their rights because of residence outside the UK for 5 years or less. The Home Office will change the duration of the pre-settled status extension from 2 to 5 years. Employers, letting agents, and landlords will not be required to conduct further right to work or rent checks where the individual remains in the same employment or as part of the same tenancy agreement. This is also from the Immigration Leave to Enter and Remain Amendment Order 2024. So this is a very good and beneficial update for EU pre-settled status holders in the UK. So we'll delve a little more into it after we come from this short break.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contested and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner, with over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
Hello. There are several questions in the community when it comes to the law, especially with immigration matters. That is why I'm inviting you to join us on the program, The Community and the Law, live on BWTV and brought to you by BWF Solicitors, our trusted partners when it comes to the law. We are going to have a very massive discussion on some of the issues of immigration matters that bother you. And they have the opportunity to meet you live on the program to explain to you all the updates that have come from the Home Office and also address your questions and concerns that you might have when it comes to the law. The Community and the Law is brought to you every Saturday between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. UK time. We're live on all social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, at BWF Solicitors, at BWTV, and of course, we urge you to share the program and invite others to join us. Remember, it's at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Saturday, live on BWTV. You have your questions. There are answers. So join us, learn, and empower yourself on the program, The Community and the Law. So pick up the phone and dial 0208 493 7345. Or you can send a text 07950 422 780. It's The Community and the Law. My name is Oreku Frimpong, and I am your host.
Minister OJ, Alexa Champong, and Diana Hamilton. What have you got? It can only be the return of Emmanuel Praise, brought to you by Alexa Champong Ministries. On Sunday, 26th of May at the Pavilion, 143 to 145 Oxford Road, Reading, RG1 7UY. Doors open at 5. Tickets are £30 standard, £50 VIP, which includes your VIP seat, meet and greet and take pictures with artists, VIP snacks, water and drink, and an under 18 concession rate of £15. Get yours at alexchampong.com or call +44 744 741 7321. Emmanuel Praise with Minister OJ, Akasi Brimpong, Diana Hamilton, and Alexa Champong. You will be blessed.
You are all once again welcome to The Community and the Law. I am so excited to have you all around and watching us today. It's another bright Saturday, and we have gotten to a point where I know you are all excited to join us and to learn with us all the exciting new updates and the topic we have for today. We are here today, kind courtesy of BWF Solicitors, our trusted partners when it comes to the law. So whether you have questions on immigration, family, civil matters, whatever the issue may be, you can come to BWF Solicitors for assistance, and they will gladly assist you in any legal matters you have. So you can find them at the 4th floor of Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, London. They are very close to the Seven Sisters Underground station. They work on Mondays to Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Once again, I'll tell you the address. They are at the 4th floor of Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, London. They are very close to the Seven Sisters Underground station. So whatever legal issues you have, feel free to contact them or visit them at their office, and they will gladly assist you. All right, so before we went for the break, we looked at the nuggets and the updates for the week. We are going to look at it once again, and I will invite our guest and resource person to explain to us what they mean and what the benefits they bring as well. So the update is the holders of EU pre-settled status will not lose their rights of residence. It says holders of EU pre-settled status will no longer lose their right of residence outside the UK for 5 years or less. The Home Office will change the duration of the pre-settled status extension from 2 to 5 years. Employers, letting agents, and landlords will not be required to conduct further right to work or rent checks where the individual remains in the same employment or as part of the same tenancy agreements. It comes from the Immigration, Leave to Enter and Remain Amendment Order 2024. Like I said, this is very, very, very interesting. And now the nugget also says where an application for limited or indefinite leave to remain in the UK is made, the supporting documents must be accompanied by a valid passport or travel document. The requirement to provide an original passport or travel document is a mandatory requirement. Otherwise, the application will be rejected as invalid. However, the immigration rules outline that an applicant is not required to provide their passport if their passport is held by the Home Office at the time of the application. That is gotten from Section 34(5) CI to the immigration rules. So at this juncture, I would invite our solicitor, Charles Asma, to explain to you the nuggets and the updates we have for this week. So welcome, Lawyer Asma, to the Community and the Law. How are you doing? You're looking
very
great.
well. Thank you. You're looking absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much.
Blends the weather. Very wonderful Sunday. Sun. I mean the sun. The sun is really good out there.
It is. It is very, very bright, just like today. So we've got our nuggets and our updates, which I have read, and we would like you to explain what they say, the benefits that come along with for example, the community updates like this. We've got some really, really interesting news from that. We would want you to tell our viewers and our listeners what they can benefit from what I have read from the updates and the nuggets as well.
Thank you. Hello, viewers and listeners. So we go straight to the nugget. Our greetings. So the nugget is quite straightforward. It's all about application and ID documentation. What is ID documentation? It's mainly your passport. So once you're applying for leave to remain in the UK, you have a foreign passport, and that's your ID documentation. When you attend your appointment to enroll your biometric, you must show your ID documentation, which is the passport. If you're not able to produce it, the rules are that the application may not be valid. Now, on what basis? So we look at section 34, subsection 5, subsection C and I, migration rules. It tells you that we all require such supporting documentation, including our ID. So the ID should be valid, and that is the passport. If it is out of date, that's another thing. If it is not available, something else. So if it's not available, your application will be considered not complete. So it will not be checked at all or looked at. So what can you do? The only exception is where the application is that the passport is held by the Home Office. So if the passport is held by the Home Office, or it is with the Home Office for whatever reason, then you can say that my passport is with the Home Office, and so I cannot reasonably have the passport to submit with my application. That's the only exception. Otherwise, you must always have your passport when you enroll for your biometric. Otherwise, the application will be rendered invalid, and that applies to any other documents that you need to support the application. Obviously, if you don't provide the other documents that support your application apart from the ID, that's a risk you have taken. The immigration caseworker will go ahead and process your application and refuse it if they feel that you don't have the document, or ask you to provide the document if they feel that you have it's not available. But the passport is different, and you must always have it unless it is with the Home Office.
Thank you very much. for that, we go on to the community update. So if you can kindly take us through the updates for the week.
Right. So, viewers and listeners, the update for the week is a good one. Borders on EU citizens' rights and that of their family members. We know that from the Treaty of the European Union in the 50s, the members or citizens of member states can move and live or visit other member states without restriction. The UK decided to leave the agreement, and there is a program in place, which is the European Union Withdrawal Agreement Act 2020. The agreement says that if you are a EU national and you want to remain in the EU, or you are a EU member and you want to remain in the EU, you have to enroll into the scheme called the EU Settlement Scheme. That means if you don't enroll into that scheme, you will not qualify to remain in the UK. What have they introduced? A condition. They have introduced a condition into the treaty agreement. But mind you, the treaty agreement was unfettered in that you cannot have any condition to it. So member states, citizens, you can move to and fro without restriction. So if you now introduce a rule which says that you have to apply to remain in a member state because there has been a decision to leave, then that will be inconsistent with the original treaty agreement. So somebody takes the government to court to say that, hang on, let's interpret the treaty properly. The treaty has no restriction, and therefore your introduction of EUSS for me to apply before I can remain is in contravention of the treaty agreement. And that is true. So what does the court say? The court says that in that case, Secretary of State, go back and come back again with a policy to show that you are remedying the issue. So Secretary of State goes back, comes back to say that, right, all those who are in the UK, once your pre-settled has expired, you do not have to apply for extension. We'll give you automatic extension for 2 years. What happens after 2 years? So now the government comes back to say, you know what? It's no longer going to be 2 years, 2 years. It's going to be 5 years. So we are moving from 2 years to 5 years. At least by 5 years' time, the person has been able to regularize to extent and they could do something about it. But of course, it becomes 5 years every 5 years, which is far better than 2 years every 2 years. What does that tell us? It tells us that holders of pre-settled status have a choice to extend their leave when it is up for settled status, or choose to remain where they are because they will be given automatic 5 years after every 5 years. Again, EU nationals with pre-settled who require employers to prove, who require right to work approval. The law now says that the employers cannot always come back to say, go and bring your right to work, go and bring your right to work. If the person remains with that employer, the employer, once they have checked the right to work, cannot ask them to bring another proof of right to work. So that is good news. Again, estate agents, landlords who are entering into rental agreement with such people cannot ask them to always go bring share code, go bring your right to rent. Once they have not exhausted the tenure of their tenancy, you cannot ask them to bring something else. So the tenancy is for 1 year. They have to be with you for 1 year without asking them to go bring something else. And you can see that is another piece of good news. So this is what we have brought you as far as the update is concerned. And this is the law that just came into force 2024, very fresh. And it is the immigration rules, or the immigration order 2024. And this is to do with leave to enter, leave to remain. So you can see that leave to enter, leave to remain is not just for the employment side of things and the tenancy side of things, it's not just for EU holders of pre-settled, but all those, including those who have 2.5 years or those who are students or skilled worker. So that is good for us. Let's take note. Thank you very much, and I will transfer you back to my host.
That is very good news indeed. So now we have seen the nuggets and the weekly community update. We are live on Facebook at BWF Solicitors and at BWTV. We are also live on YouTube at BWF Solicitors. Now, what I want you to do is when you come online, we would like to feel your presence. So please like the video, share the video, and comment as much as you can. And please don't forget to copy the link and send it to your friends, your family, whoever. Just share it so other people can benefit from today's very interesting topic. So once again, we are going to discuss how to register your child as a British citizen for free. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will dive right into the topic for today.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contestant and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner, with over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
Minister OJ, Alexa Champong, and Diana Hamilton. What have you got? It can only be the return of Emmanuel Praise, brought to you by Alexa Champong Ministries. On Sunday, 26th of May, at the Pavilion, 143 to 145 Oxford Road, Reading, RG1 7UY. Doors open at 5. Tickets are £30 standard, £50 VIP, which includes your VIP seat, meet and greet and take pictures with artists, VIP snacks, water and drink. and an under 18 concession rate of £15. Get yours at alexichampong.com or call +44 744 741 7321. Emmanuel Praise with Minister OJ, Akasi Brimpong, Diana Hamilton, and Alexi Champong. You will be blessed.
Welcome back, wonderful viewers and listeners. Before we delve into our topic for today, we are going to have a look at the quiz question, which we will look at later on during our show. So the question is, me Anyete initially had indefinite leave to remain in the UK. He left the UK for more than 2 years, and upon his arrival, the border force retained his passport as his indefinite leave to remain automatically lapsed. He later submitted an application for leave to remain based on his private life. His application was refused because the Home Office held that his application was not valid as he did not provide his passport. Advise me, Anyete. So first advice is he has to accept that he has submitted an invalid application. The second advice is he can make a complaint to a legal ombudsman to resolve the matter. And the third advice is he can challenge the Home Office's decision as he was not required to provide his passport with his application. We will look at this into details during the show as we continue, but we would like you to give us what answers you think is the best advice for Nye Anyete in this scenario. So we are going to delve right into our topic, which is how to register your child as a British citizen for free. I'm sure a lot of you know that you can register your child as a British citizen if your child is eligible, but a lot of you also have to pay for this service. So a lot of you are wondering, is there a way that this can be free for me? Is there a way I could register my child as a British citizen for free? Well, I'm here to tell you that that is what we are about to talk about today, and I'm happy to reintroduce our resource person and guest, lawyer Charles Asma. He's going to be taking us through this very interesting topic. Welcome again, Charles Asma, to
Thank you.
the community and the law. Okay, so I would like to find out, we all know that usually for applications to the Home Office, most of them are paid applications. You need to pay a fee. Is there really a way that people could actually register their children as British citizens without paying any type of fee to the Home Office?
I would say there is always a way where it seems to be no way. And so one of the ways available is what we are going to talk about today. There is always different opportunities and avenues for people who cannot genuinely afford. And by the end of this conversation, if you're a parent seeking to register your child, if the child is now eligible, of course, we will show you how to get through that so that you can save or you can avoid where necessary and use the money for their child's upkeep.
Wow, that is very, very interesting, and that would bring people some sort of relief, those who genuinely cannot afford to pay the fee. So we would like you to take us through how this can be a possibility for people whose children are eligible but they cannot afford the fee. So if you don't mind, please take us through this topic.
Thank you very much, viewers and listeners. Once again, good afternoon. Great afternoon, Saturday, and our conversation on this program is another exciting one. We want to take the opportunity to thank you all for making time, and we bring you greetings from the corridors of BWF Solicitors, your preferred legal destination. So, as my host rightly said, is it possible to register your child when your child is due for registration to become a British citizen for free? The answer is yes. And we'll look at how yes that is, or how true that is. So we know that under Section 3 of the Human Rights Act 1998, which stems from the European Convention on Human Rights. Any decision or action of a government or an agency of the state that contravenes human rights, i.e., right to family life, right to private life, right to liberty, and all sort of rights that are enshrined in the law, that action, policy, utterance, behavior of the state will be a contravention, because this is a protected right. So what do we mean by human rights? Human rights we have talked about: right to family life, right to private life, Article 8. That transposed into immigration activities or processes. If you're making an application and the application is a human right application, then it falls under Article 8 of the Human Rights, which is a protected right. That means there should be no restriction to that right. So if the government makes a pronouncement, including fees, that suggests that you cannot assert that right or exercise that right, then that will be a contravention of your Article 8 right, and that action will be incongruous. So if a child is going to register to become a British citizen in the UK, is that a human right? Technically, that is not a human right. So if that is not a human right, why would the child qualify for a free application? So that's one of the policies the government introduced when COVID came and things became tougher. We know that during COVID, the no recourse to public fund condition was made easy for people to apply to get it removed. And that became possible when application for judicial review was sent to the upper tribunal, and it went through, and eventually the court said that those who don't have right to public fund, if they are struggling to live, to meet essential living needs, especially for the children involved, they have to be reconsidered. So we now have a lot of us making applications for that condition to be removed so that we can access public fund for our children. The same vein, the government made it, the court made it possible that children who are due for registration to become British citizens and their families or parents cannot afford the fee should be given a concession. That is a fee waiver concession. So a fee waiver concession is now incorporated into the guidance, the case working guidance for immigration activities by the Home Office, so that if the person can prove that they cannot afford the child's registration fee for citizenship, then the case where the Home Office should seek to remove the fee or waive the fee so that they can apply for free. How much is the fee at the moment? For children, the fee is about 1,300 to 1,400. I've given you a range because I can't be emphatic on the exact figure, but suffice to say that that is the range. Now, again, the fee ought to be paid before you can
Hello. There are several questions in the community when it comes to the law, especially with immigration matters. That is why I'm inviting you to join us on the program, The Community and the Law, live on BWTV and brought to you by BWF Solicitors, our trusted partners when it comes to the law. We are going to have a very massive discussion on some of the issues of immigration matters that bother you. And they have the opportunity to meet you live on the program to explain to you all the updates that have come from the Home Office and also address your questions and concerns that you might have when it comes to the law. The Community and the Law It's brought to you every Saturday between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. UK time. We're live on all social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. At BWF Solicitors, at BWTV, and of course, we urge you to share the program and invite others to join us. Remember, it's at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every Saturday, live on BWTV. You have your questions. There are answers. So join us, learn, and empower yourself on the program, the community, and the law. So pick up the phone and dial 0208 493 7345. Or you can send a text 07950 422 780. It's the community and the law. My name is Oreku Frimpon, and I am your host.
Right. So as we were saying before the advert, the process is as simple as that, but it's for children registration applications. So if you can prove that you cannot afford, the rule is that you should be, or the child should be exempted. And that exemption comes with a fee waiver. So you apply for a waiver first before. How does that work? So a fee waiver simply means that you cannot afford your child's registration fee or the child application for registration as British citizen. We are not going to go into how does the child qualify, because we have concluded that this is for children who qualify and they have taken steps to apply for registration through their parents or by their parents. But suffice to echo the point that we know that once a child has lived in the UK, born in the UK, lived in the UK for 10 years of their lives, that child can apply for registration to become a British citizen based on their 10 years private life. In this case, they don't need their parents, it's just about them. And you have to prove that you have 10 years evidence of the child living in the UK. If the child cannot prove it, then that registration, the child will not be eligible for that application. We also know that once a child, so those between the ages of 18 to 25, if you have lived in the UK for half of your age, or more than half of your age, you qualify for that application as well. Again, we move on to those who are applying on the basis of their parents. The rules say that once you have become settled or you've been granted indefinite leave to remain in the UK as a parent, your child can apply for registration to become a British citizen on the basis that the parent has become settled whilst the child is still a child under 18 years of age. Again, if the child came to the UK and so the child was born abroad, came to the UK, they have indefinite leave to remain, they've held it for 2 years, they can apply to the Secretary of State for consideration to be registered to become a British citizen. So we have Section 1, Subsection 3 under the British Nationality Act provisions, that is relying on your parent. And we also have other part of the rules, Section 3.1 for children, again, relying on your parent, but you were born abroad and brought into the UK, you are 10 years plus, you are less than 18 years, and you have no issue with your character or suitability, then the Secretary of State will consider your application. So we are assuming that the child qualifies, and so we have started the application. But the parent says they cannot afford the application fee. I'm not talking about legal fees. I'm talking about Home Office fees. And this has no payment or fee for IHS. So there's no immigration health surcharge. It's just the fee. and the fee for adult is 1580, and for adult is the naturalization. The children is about 1,300 to 1,400. But the question is, what if I cannot afford for my child? Because the child obviously cannot pay themselves, so the parent will have to. So the conversation starts this way. Point 1, is this your child? So there is a relationship evidence is proven. Point 2, do you live with this child? Is proven. Point 3, is it true that you cannot afford for your child's application? And that is the meaty part, because you have to show that your income is not enough to pay for the fee for the child. So how do you prove that the income is not enough? You have to bring all your incomes to the table, including that of your other family members. So if there is husband or partner involved, you have to bring the partner's income as well to the table. Yours, then if I say yours, and you are the person who has the indefinite leave to remain based on whom the child is making the application, or the child themselves are doing it on the basis of their 10 years born in the UK, lived in the UK basis. But the parent who lives with the child is the one paying for the fee. If both parents are the ones looking after the child, then we have two pots of income, both parents. So you have to show that you are both working and your money or income is not enough. Again, you bring all the savings you have for yourself, for your partner, and for other children. You have to bring all that. Then we're also looking at putting all together what shows that you cannot still afford the fees. If your income, for example, after putting all together, we are looking at universal credit, we are looking at child benefit, we are looking at all the benefits range, you are there. You're also looking at you are working part-time or full-time. We are looking at getting maintenance from your child's other parent or children's other parent who does not live with them. All put together, we check your expenses and we can strike a balance and conclude that even though there's money, after paying for the registration fee, that you cannot afford to care for the child in terms of living needs. So again, as we were saying, you have to bring all your income evidence. What constitutes income evidence? Bank statement, 6 months bank statement. For current account, for savings account, for investment account, for what have you. Some people have current account, classic or whatever. Some, and then in addition, they have ISA account, the individual savings account, or other forms of savings account. Bring all of them. Then we go to the child or the children. Bring all their savings or current account statements, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So it's
Then as we are looking at those statements, we'll be looking at if there is a father involved, where is that father or where is the other parent? So it has to be obvious that this other parent is the only one looking after the child, or if both parents are involved, then you have to show the respective statements. Again, pay slips to show how much money is coming in. So we are looking at how much money is coming in, and that is corroborated with the bank statement amount, showing that what you are saying is true. Because sometimes, or most of the time, they are able to conclude that people are able to get pay slips which might not be real payslip. However, you cannot have bank statement, which is not real bank statement. So if you're able to show that your money on the payslip and the money on the bank statement or in the bank statement tally, then that is corroborative evidence. They want both. You also have to show for universal credit, the universal credit statement that you can print from your portal. If the child is receiving any income, you have to bring that as well. If friends and family are helping, you have to show all that.
Okay, so what we are gathering is what is very important is the financial capability of the family. They'll have to really show they are not capable of paying the fee. That's what you are trying to say, right?
Exactly so.
Okay, so are you trying to tell us that if they should produce their bank statements without producing their pay slips, or they produce their pay slips without producing bank statements, there's a possibility they might not get the fee waiver?
Right, it depends on the argument. If, for example, the person has said that they are working,
Yeah.
then they have to provide pay slips.
Okay.
If they said that they don't work and the only source of income is from the benefit pot and also from child maintenance for the child, then you don't need to provide pay slips.
Okay, so the main thing is they need to provide whatever source of income they are receiving. That needs to be shown to the Home Office.
Exactly.
Inclusive of bank statement, sorry.
Correct.
Okay. So I hope we are understanding it and we are getting it and we are following along this discussion. So you really need to prove every source of income you have along with your bank statement so it can corroborate the story of the income. So if you are working, you need your pay slip, your bank statement, your universal credit, every source of income, and that's very important. So we're going back to our resource person to keep speaking about our topic for today.
Thank you very much. So the next stage is your expenditure or expenses for a month. So you've put together your income. You are now putting together your expense. So let's take a simple, let's do a simple exercise. This is somebody applying for the child. It's one child,
Okay.
but the person has other children. So let's say a family of 3. That will come to a family of 1. Say a family of 3. They all have savings for the children. So 3 children, 3 savings accounts. The mother has savings account and current account, making 5 accounts. They live with the father as well. So this is not one side family. Both parents are in the picture. The father also has savings account and a current account, making 7 accounts. Then they also have investment account somewhere, making 8. And we check, we realize that they also have Monzo somewhere. They also have Wise account somewhere. They also have other online accounts somewhere. And by the time you realize, about 12 accounts. So you have to bring 12 statements for 12 accounts.
Yeah.
And each is 6 months. So 12 times 6 to get the total statement required. So you see that it's not about, oh, I only have one account that I use. It is all your account in the UK.
Okay.
Sometimes they even ask you, do you have assets elsewhere? But of course, we don't have assets anywhere else. You only tell them what you have. So your account in the UK, you have to declare all of them. The same way, if there's only one child, then of course we look at. So it's always important, if you are doing this yourself, to ask yourself, how many people are in this family? Because it's a family activity.
Okay.
So if there are other family members, then they should be able to help to pay for the child's registration, citizenship application, or the nationality application fee. So we look at all the family members and we look at their income. Then we look at all the family members and we look at how much goes towards the living expenses. And the living expenses, we call it essential living expenses, not frivolities. Frivolities, big word, but it simply means non-essential.
Okay.
If it's not so essential, you cannot use it to say that after paying for this, you don't have money.
Okay, so give us some examples of the frivolities which will not count towards the expenditure.
Right. So thank you very much. Now let's go through the ones that count towards.
It,
Then we'll
okay.
look at exceptions, which I'm sure viewers and listeners can even say that, oh, but this one there, you can survive without it.
Yeah. Okay.
So we start with your shelter cost. So rent and council tax, very important. So the three basic needs and others. So shelter, we're also looking at food. So your food is important as well. So look at how much it costs you to feed the family, yourself and the children, or and the child. Somebody will say, well, but food, I mean, I can spend £1,000. It's me. But you have to be reasonable. Spending £1,000 on food for 2, 3 people, I mean, come on, are you always eating out? And why should you be always eating out if you claim to be that poor, quote unquote? So it's a common sense thing and it's a judgment call. So we're looking at average reasonable spending for a family of 2. Let's say your food bill is $350. That's reasonable. You, 2 children. You're also looking at clothing for yourself, clothing for the child or the children. Question is, do you buy clothes every month? So usually I will tell people that the judgment call will be that every 3 months you have to change your wardrobe. For example, on that basis, I ask, so every 3 months, how much is the clothing cost? Yourself and the children. The children tend to grow fast, and therefore it's likely that it costs so much on the child side, but your side may not be that. So we put all together, and if you are telling me, for example, that every 3 months it's about, let's say, 500, 400 for you and the children, then we can divide by 3. So if it is, let's say, 450 and we divide by 3, that will be 150 a month, depending on the child. We're also looking at other expenses on the side of the child. So if it's a baby, you tend to spend more on milk, tend to spend more on bottled food, tend to spend more on nappies, you tend to spend more on, for example, childcare. If you are working, you tend to spend more on other things. If they are of a school-going age, you tend to spend more on after-school club, breakfast club, trips, uniforms, and all that. Again, uniform cannot be every month, but so every 6 weeks there is half term. So 12 weeks is a term, and therefore give and take, 12 divided by 4 is 3 months. So if every term, every school range, you are spending, let's say, 250 on the school uniform, then we can divide it by 3, and we can get average for 1 month. Because you can't say that I spent £500 on school uniform. It doesn't make sense, because we know that we don't spend every month. So that is how you drill it down to get a monthly equivalent. Again, the child is into activities, clubs that you have to pay for. Maybe they belong to football academy. You have to pay for that every month. That will go into the bill. You come to your telephone. The fact that you don't have money doesn't mean you cannot use the phone that will meet your essential needs. And therefore, if you say that you are paying, for example, a contract for your phone, including internet, and it is £70, yeah, so be it. It makes sense, because that we'll see that in the bank statement that this is how much it is. But it's not enough to say, okay, put down, or I think it is this. No, we have to interrogate that. So if you are doing it yourself, again, you have to make that judgment call and to say that if I don't know how much I'm paying, how much will it be on the market? And if I know how much I'm paying, how much is it? We also come to your travel cost. If you are taking train and bus, some people pay for that every month, and we know how much. Some people pay every week, some people as and when. And therefore, I usually will ask people, how much is your monthly cost in terms of train? If you do train and bus, how much is it? So the last one I did, the person said that it's £215 a month. I said, oh wow, that is because she buys for the children as well, taking them to school and bringing them back. Somebody will say, oh, but the children have it for free when they go on the bus or the train. It depends on where they live. Yeah. Some part of the UK, it's not that free, and therefore they must have the ticket, and it's the parent that will pay for that. Again, other bills, if they have the receipt, energy bill, so electricity, gas, water bill, other things, or council tax, of course, is there. TV license, if you have to pay TV license, the cost of it. By the time you go through all that, you realize that there's so much that go into your spending. We put that together side by side with the income, and we conclude that what is left is £1. Now, this is the question. The child is due to be registered to become a British citizen. And you see, they can only register if they are a child or children. After 18, it's difficult because they are no longer children. Yeah. So let's assume that because of money, I cannot apply. And by the time I save up, the child has ceased to be a child. That's punishing the child. Yeah. And that's why the policy has made it easy for such circumstances or situations to be avoided. So once you can prove that income and expense, your surplus is X amount, and if let's say your surplus is £1 and the fee is 1,300, then you have to save 1,300. You have to save for 1,300 months before you can gather 1,000 free. If you have left with £50 after your expenses, then you have to save 1,300 divided by 50. Yeah. How many months? That's a lot of months to be saving up for, and all that. Again, you have your parents at home, and therefore, as part of your expenses, you send money for their health care or for their upkeep. Yes, that will be part of your expenses because it is your responsibility to look after your parent. And so the caseworker will not ask you, why do you have this as part of your spending? But let's put it this way, that on your bank statement, we see you sending money to people. Okay. Once the money goes, you have no, of course, between you and whoever, we know what the money is for. Yeah. But to the lay person or the reasonable man who looks at the money in your account to be your money, the person will not understand that this is not your money. And therefore, the caseworker will conclude that the money leaving your account can only be your money given to somebody else, or the money coming into your account is money coming to you. So how do you show that this is relevant to your life or your living needs? So you have to explain every transaction. So let's assume that you don't have, but you are, let's say you have subscribed to Cancer Research UK, and every month you are giving them £100. Is that beyond? See, I don't want to call it frivolity. Yeah, that is more of charity. But charity, you don't stretch yourself over.
For someone who says, I can't afford this, that is quite a stretch.
Exactly. Good. So that's one. Again, well, this money went towards my family members, let's say fees, or my family members this, or my family members that. That means you are helping your family members. Exactly. So if you're able to help family members, are you not able to help yourself?
True.
That is another question. Yeah. Could that be a frivolity that is not essential spending for your upkeep or to be able to survive? So why don't you put that money aside and save? That's what the caseworker will conclude.
Wow, that's really understandable. Yes. So I hope you've understood what lawyer Charles is trying to say. There are some expenditures that is very necessary. For example, your food, your shelter, your clothing, and then there are some that is just a little bit frivolous. That if to you it might not look frivolous, but to the lay person or to a reasonable person, it looks like instead of spending such and such, you could put it down and save towards helping your own child become a British citizen. So you have to be quite meticulous how you spend your money and how it's going to, show up. Because if it shows up like you are just spending anyhow, or you have the money, you might not be able to successfully apply for a fee waiver for your child to be registered as a British citizen for free. And it could be a situation where indeed you cannot afford it, but it would not look like that to the layperson or to a reasonable person. So we are going back to Lawyer Asma to keep advising us and educating us. That's the word, educating us more on this topic.
Right. Thank you very much. So let's go through this simple bit. So my host will be assisting us by putting down the items, the cost items and the income items. So we are doing income and expense for this child whose mother wants to apply for her to be registered to become a British citizen. This is one child living with the mother. There's no father, there's no siblings, there's no other family member. So the mother works part-time, earns £1,000 a month. So income number one, 1,000.
Okay.
The mother qualifies for universal credit and other support. So income number two, universal credit, 2,000. The mother qualifies for housing support. So income number three, housing benefit, £1,000. The child's father gives maintenance for the child, £250. So income number what? Is it 5 or 4?
Yes, 4.
Income number 4, maintenance, child maintenance,
250.
250. There's nothing else. So the total 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, 250, 4,250. Now, let's look at the expenditure for this family. Food. And this is a modest family. No eating out all the time. So the shopping cost for the month for mother and child is £300. Shopping for the month, food, £300. The child is, let's say, 3 years. So this for simplicity, the child is 3 years. And so you see the child 3 years may not be taking milk, but they may be taking other things.
Yeah.
So let's put the child's food. £100. So adding to the main food, 400, right? We are still under food. So we are exploring all the food cost.
Yeah.
If there was a child under 3, let's say 2 years or 1, you can see the cost will be more for the child. Yeah. Child under 1 will be drinking more milk, and maybe it's Aptamil instead of the general milk.
Yeah.
Aptamil is expensive.
Yes.
And the law won't tell you that why do you go for Aptamil if you can't afford. I care for the welfare of my child, and therefore that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So depending on what we are buying for the child, but we'll put it together that is £100 for this family.
Yeah.
So food is 400, right?
Yes.
Let's go to rent. Check the income. Do we have rent covered? Housing benefit. How much?
That is
1,000. So when you come to the expense, what will be the rent? 0.
Yes.
Because rent is covered.
Yes.
So put there 0. Because so you cannot double count that £1,000. Okay. Right. Otherwise, so what now will happen is that if the rent is, let's say, 1,000 and is covered by the universal the housing benefit, then you put there 1,000. If you put 1,000 here and you put 1,000 here, you get 0.
Yeah.
That means so you can choose not to report the housing benefit and also the rent,
okay,
or report both for simplicity and for accountability. So 1,000 is reported. Report there also 1,000, and it averages.
Okay.
Then we move on to what else? Any other costs?
We have clothing.
Clothing.
Yeah.
So put down clothing. So the clothing is every 3 months, an average of 150. Of course, you have to know how much you spend on clothing yourself and the child. Then we come to transportation. Let's say 200 pounds. It's possible that it will be more or less, but for simplicity, 200 pounds for this family. We come to parent support. Parent support. So this parent has parents that she looks after or support. And the law will say that if you don't have it, why should you care about your parents? It is a common judgment. It's a judgment call. You have to be a responsible child. And so the law has nothing to do with this bit. So we put that down. Let's say this person looks after the parent, and because they don't have money, they only can afford 100 pounds.
Okay.
So 100 pounds. Then we move on to any other item on the cost bill or list.
On the cost.
So generally, what do people spend money on? So you come to energy, yeah,
Okay,
utilities.
Yes. Yeah.
So put down utilities. We'll put all the utilities together: water, electricity, gas. Let's say that it comes to 150. Of course, the person will show with the evidence they have. So
about telephone bills.
So we'll come to that. Great. So telephone. Telephone, we have contract, and we have the landline. So mobile phone for yourself, mobile phone for your child. A child of 3 years, there will be no mobile phone. But a child of 10 years, there will be mobile phone. A child for 10 years, again, the cost of clothing will be higher. So it's all this. But let's assume that there is mobile phone, because we said a child is 3 years for this exercise. The child doesn't have a mobile phone. So there's only one mobile phone in the family, which is the mother.
Yeah.
And the mother goes for the top end or medium, which is about, let's say, 65 pounds a month. 65. Contract. Again, they have Sky Broadband, and that is about 25 pounds.
Okay.
Then we have, so the cleaning cost. If I say cleaning cost, you have to have the materials that you use to clean your home, materials for bathing and so on. This is different from grooming. So let's put together cleaning materials.
Okay. Put
that into inverted commas. So with this one on the list, there wouldn't be anything called cleaning materials, but there will be other. So this will go under other.
Okay.
So cleaning materials, all the things they use, the parent buys. Let's put together, it's 100 pounds or 90. Put together 90 pounds for that. Then grooming. Okay. Grooming will be the mother does the hair, and the child is a baby, so maybe no hair, but if no salon. But if the child is, let's say, 5 years going, the child will be taken to the salon. If the child is a girl, the child will be taken to the hair, for braiding and whatever. Yes. So depending on, so you can see that there's a lot to go into this in terms of analysis. So let's say the grooming, including the cream, including spray and whatever things that go into grooming, put together for the two, say 100 pounds. Can be 90, can be 60, but they will tell, or you know as a parent how much that costs. So for this exercise, 100 pounds. Then we'll go into maybe entertainment. Entertainment is the Sky Broadband. Yeah. But once in a while, they visit the cinema. So entertainment, maybe they go to the cinemas every 2 weeks. So twice in a month. And that costs them, let's say, 30 pounds. Okay. Then there is, of course, this woman keeps fit. So she signed up for the gym. pay subscription. Somebody will ask, hey, you can't afford your immigration, you are going to the gym. Of course, what the government is expecting is total wellness. So if you go to the gym, then you wouldn't be a burden on the state. The government or the state will clap for you. So gym is good. So put the gym down for how much? 30 pounds or 15 pounds or 20 pounds. Average, put down 20 pounds.
Okay.
But they will bring the bill. And we put all together, and anything else which are important, we haven't covered it yet. Put together others, and say that is £100, and this could include certain prescriptions. Of course, somebody who's on benefit may get a prescription for free, but if they are going to the walk-in without prescription to buy just on the counter, then that one they have to pay for it. So let's say that it's about all that put together £100, but not just for prescription. Anything else we haven't covered, £100. So get a total for us, the expenditure.
That's 1,430.
The expenditure.
Expenditure. We have not added the rent.
So we added the rent back because we have it
so
here and the income.
Okay, so then that'll be 2,430.
2,430. If you take this from the income for this family, the income was, I think, 4,250.
4,250 minus 2,430. That'll be 1,008. Sorry, 1,820.
So 1,820. So you can see that this person who has surplus income of 1,820, you are the caseworker. Will you agree that the person needs fee waiver or they can afford?
Well, I would agree that they actually do need a fee waiver.
So their surplus income.
Oh,
left
no,
over.
Okay, 1,820. No, they can afford.
They can afford.
Fee. They can
because
afford
even more than the fee.
Yes, they can afford.
So this is an example. So you can see that this person will not qualify because there is evidence that they have enough.
They have the money, yes.
All right. Now let's look at this family number 2.
Okay.
Family number 2, same circumstance, but income. This person works part-time and they only earn £500. So everything there is halved. So 4,250 is halved, and that would be 2,125. Yeah. So the income will be 2,125 for this family B. But the expense is the same for this same family B. So the other one was 2,004. Was it 2,400 and something? Check for me the expenditure. Was it 2,004 something or 2,003 something?
I'd have to calculate.
Okay, let's say it was 2,003 something. And this one is 2,125. So you can see the expenditure is more than the income.
Yes.
Will you agree as a caseworker that it's obvious they cannot afford?
They cannot
Why?
Afford because now we can clearly see that they do not have the income to apply successfully for this. So they will need the fee waiver because their expenditure is more than
it's even
their
more.
income.
What does that tell you? They are even struggling to survive. And therefore, when you see money from other people, it's obvious that that was a loan or a gift given to them. And you have to explain all that. And that is why when there is a loan from a friend or a gift from a friend towards their living needs, it makes sense. Because their spending is more than their income. And so they rely on support from other people. But that support is not going to be there. And the support is not for application fee. So the question would be, why is it that those people who are helping you to survive are not able to help you to pay your fee? They are helping you to survive simply because they are humanitarian people, they are philanthropists, and they're only helping for the needs, but not helping to pay your application fee. So the caseworker will sometimes say, oh, but if these people are helping you, they should write to explain why they cannot help. So they will have to explain this. So you tell them that, you know what, explain to me why you cannot help me to pay the fee. And they'll write a letter saying that I am John Mensah. Little Benson is my friend or church colleague. We have been attending this church for some time. I know that Little Benson has been struggling And so occasionally she will ask me for an informal loan of, for example, 250 or 150 or 300, and she will tell me that, please, when my universal credit is paid, I will pay back, or when I get my wage or pay, I will pay back. So that is how I've been helping her. Unfortunately, this has been going on. My own financial circumstance has not been possible to even go beyond this help. And therefore, when she recently asked me if I could assist with giving her a loan for the child's application, I said that my income cannot help afford, or I will not be able to pay or help you with that. End of story. What is the person saying? Yes, I help her, but I can't help her on this one.
Yeah.
And that's what the caseworker wants to see.
Okay. So just a quick question. I have heard this question before, so I just wanted to ask. So, for example, this scenario, the family had an excess, scenario one, they had an excess of, let me say, 1,180. So if they have that excess, if the application fees, let's say 1,300, does it mean in such an instance the caseworker will not see it as even if they have 1,180 and then the application fee is even 1,000, which means they have more than enough to pay for the application fee? Is there a possibility that caseworker can be like, that means that this month, if they make this payment for this application, they will struggle for this month, because that will leave them with maybe, let's say, 180, because they have spent 1,000 just to make an application to register their child? Or it doesn't matter, as long as you have excess after that calculation has been made and they still see that your income is more than your expenditure, you can afford it?
Okay. So the reason why we have to do the income and expense analysis is to see how much is left after paying for all the essentials. And this family, after paying for all the essentials of 2,350, we realized that they were still left with 1,820. Are they bad?
They are not bad.
They are not bad. So if they pay 1,300 out of this 820, can they not still meet the essential needs?
They can.
So the money that they are dipping into is the savings.
Okay.
So if you have savings, that's another point, viewers and listeners. If you have savings, you can't say this savings is for something else, so give me fee waiver for the child application. There are instances where we stretch the argument, and that is a argument point, where you tell the caseworker that, yes, my child has savings of, let's say, £2,000. This savings is actually a trust pot, and the plan is that the child will access this once they are maybe this age. And so, if it turns out that the child, realizing that this has been used for something else, then it appears to be a breach of trust for this thing. So if that is the argument, the caseworker will understand that even though there's savings in the name of the child, it is for a purpose.
Okay.
But not savings. You have savings, the children have savings, everybody has savings. And you still say that the saving is for...
okay.
What would the saving be for? Maybe holiday.
Probably.
So you are planning on holiday, but you can't plan towards this. So you see what goes in through the mind of the caseworker.
Yes.
So you always have to sit back and preempt what the caseworker will be assessing and make room for that, so that you have the answer before they put it to you.
Okay. Well understood. Thank you very much. So I hope you have also understood this aspect of the discussion. We will go for a short break, and when we come back, we shall continue our discussion. We will also open the phone lines and answer some of the questions you have. So please feel free to put your questions in the comment section. Lawyer Asma will be answering all the questions, and we would also have a look at our quiz for the week and discuss the quiz, and we'll see which of you had the right answers and which of you did not get the right answers. We will be right back after this break.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contested and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner. With over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
Welcome back once again to the community and the law. We will be opening our telephone lines very soon to welcome questions you have. So the telephone number is 0208 493 7345. I repeat, 0208 493 7345. So when we open our lines, you can call us with any questions you have for Lawyer Asma. We are about to get into the final aspect of this very interesting discussion. So I would once again take us to Lawyer Asma, who will finally discuss the last aspect of how to register your child as a British citizen for free. Lawyer Asma.
Right, thank you very much. So viewers and listeners, as the host rightly said, the line is now open and you can send in your questions via the line or text. But suffice to say that the conversation will continue. So assessing the income and expense, you have to be really meticulous and everything should be supported by evidence. There are instances where people may show certain transactions in their account, but they struggle to explain the source and the reason for that expenditure or the income. You see, what a caseworker sees is somebody who has an account and runs the account to receive money or to pay money. The money you pay should be relevant to your living needs, and the money you receive should be linked or should come to help with your living needs or cost. And so if the money is coming in as savings or as loan or as whatever, you have to explain what the purpose is. So there are two things. One, purpose of that transaction, and the source of that transaction. So if the source is your own bank account to another bank account, let's call it transfer from own account into this account. Why did you transfer money from your other account to this account? You have to explain. Is it to pay loan, finance cost? Is it to pay your car loan? Is it to cover overdraft because it is due? What is it for? Why will you transfer money from the other account to this? Why didn't you pay directly from that account? Why did you transfer? So you have to explain. So usually I will, from the instructions of that person, I ask them, what is it for? Once they're able to explain to me, I have to explain by annotating the statement to say that transfer from own Lloyd's account into own Barclays account to pay for car loan, or to pay for overdraft, or to pay for rent arrears, or to pay for child clothing, or to do this or to do that. So there should be a story linked to the person's own needs.
Okay, so just a quick question. So in an instance where, let's say, the person genuinely cannot afford it, but maybe the person's bank account, the person is so friendly that she or he allows people to be sending money to him or her, and she would do stuff for them to maybe buy things or anything on their behalf. If in such an instance, maybe money, X amount of money was put into this person's account by a friend, and now that same maybe X amount of money goes out of their account, how is the caseworker going to see this sort of scenario? And is the caseworker going to use such huge monies leaving and coming to their account to say, you can't really afford the application because I'm seeing this kind of transactions going in and out? How is the person going to annotate the bank statement to prove to the caseworker that truly and really I cannot afford to pay for this application?
Thank you very much. So there are two things here. But before I go into that, let me say this to all of us, that the caseworker will always require 6 months bank statement. 6 months bank statement. So if you are going to make your child's application, you know when you are going to apply, and you know when the 6 months will start and end. The 6 months will end at the time you put in the request for a fee waiver for the child. And you have to work backwards 6 months. So if it is, let's say, May, you are applying, then we check backwards. We'll have 6 months to May. That's about December or November. So December, January, February, March, April, May, 6 months. So if you have certain transactions which raises eyebrow within those 6 months, and you think you cannot present this to the caseworker, then you have to let the time elapse.
Okay.
So that you don't have to show them what you don't have to show them.
Okay.
That is one thing. The next thing is that, of course, there's nothing you can do. You have to send it now. So if you are sending it today, 6 months, this transaction falls within. Your friend whom you help, they give you money, you buy things for them. Fine. There was one case, and that was around the COVID time. So the person was applying for a fee waiver, and there was about 7,000. So the person was asked to explain why this. So the explanation the person gave was that during COVID, this my friend actually wanted to buy a car, but COVID is such a restriction made it impossible for him to move to where he has located the car to buy. The car was in my area. So he said, please take the money and front the pictures of the car for me. And when it's ready, I will arrange to pick the car up. This was the explanation, and this is how I presented this. And the caseworker understood it, that if that is the case, then it makes sense. But so whatever you say should make sense. And where possible, get the person in question to also add a letter explaining that this is actually what happened and why this was a one-off thing.
Okay, so thank you very much, Lawyer Charles. Very briefly, if you can just take us through what a person can do if they genuinely cannot afford it, but a caseworker feels they can afford to make the application and pay for it. If you can just take us through that very briefly. We have already touched on it, but if you could remind our viewers very briefly on that.
Right. So there are two things that may happen. Actually, three. The first outcome of the application for fee waiver is granted, and you are or accepted because it's a request, and you are given a code to pay full So 100% acceptance. Or, depending on the circumstance, you may be given partial fee waiver. And they will tell you that this is how much the code is up to. Then you have to top up. Or they reject it because you can afford. Or because you were not able to explain to them, to convince them that the transactions in the statement has nothing to do with you or with your living needs, or it's no longer available. So if the caseworker is not able to be convinced that you cannot afford, they will reject the application or refuse the request. If they are convinced 100% that you cannot afford, it will be given to you. Or if they are in doubt, or based on the information you've given, for example, the person that we made the assessment for, surplus is, let's say, 800 pounds. That means they can afford up to 800. So the fee waiver will be the difference. So there could be a partial fee waiver.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lawyer Asma, for your very detailed explanation of this topic. This is a very interesting topic, and I know is one of concern to many of our viewers and listeners. I know that a lot of you have questions which you would like answered, and so now we are going to take a few of the questions for Lawyer Asma to answer them. We have finally now opened our lines, and you can call 0208 493 7345 to ask Lawyer Asma any questions. You don't also forget you could put your questions under the comment sections of our Facebook and YouTube pages. So we are going to take a few questions. The first question is from Abigail Jolie. She says, do you have to have a huge amount or a big company before you can sponsor yourself? I think this is about sponsorship. The sponsorship license. She wants to know if you need to have a huge amount or a big company before you can sponsor yourself.
Well, big is relative. What you need is a company that is doing something and requires a license to be able to operate, in terms of getting people to help run the business. So all you need is going through the checklist and meeting the requirements that you need to show to the Home Office for the license application. Of course, there should also be a business need for that business. If you say business need, you say you are going to sell ice cream in the UK and this is Ghana ice cream. There's no Ghana ice cream in the UK, so you are importing to sell. What is the business case for this? A lot of people, or there's huge market for that product. And so it makes sense that even when you haven't started, there are a lot of people asking for it. So the demand is huge. You've done your business case analysis, you've done the business plan, and it's obvious that it will be successful. They will grant you the sponsorship license.
Okay, we are going to take our next question, which is from Frank Osei. He says, has Brexit affected the process of registering a child as a British citizen, particularly for children of EU or EEA nationals?
It's the same process. Registration, once the child qualifies, is respective of whether it's EU or non-EU.
Okay, thank you very much, Lawyer Asma, for answering the question. These are all the questions we have for today. So you can reach BWF Solicitors on 0208 493 7340. They are located at Seven Sisters, so very close to the Seven Sisters Underground Station, 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, London. Yes, okay, so we are going to look at our quiz for this week. The question is, Ni Anyete initially had indefinite leave to remain in the UK. He left the UK for more than 2 years, and upon his arrival, the border force retained his passport as his indefinite leave to remain automatically lapsed. He later submitted an application for leave to remain based on his private life. His application was refused because the Home Office held that his application was not valid as he did not provide his passport, advised Ni Anyete. The first advice, he has to accept that he submitted an invalid application. The second advice, he can make a complaint to a legal ombudsman to resolve the matter. And the third advice, he can challenge the Home Office's decision as he was not required to provide his passport with his application. We are going to look at a few of the answers some of you have provided to this question. Okay, we will take a short break, and when we come back, we will look at some of the answers you have provided to this quiz question.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contested and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner. With over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
Welcome back once again. So before we went on our break, we looked at the quiz question and the possible advices you could give to Ni Anyete. We are now going to take a few of the answers you have provided to this question. So we have, sorry, I'm not really seeing. We have Yao in team who believes the answer is advice number 1. We've also got Kevin Asamoah, who also believes the answer is, sorry, we have a little bit of technical difficulties though. Okay, we have Kevin Asamoah, who also believes the answer is advice 1. We also have Legal Know-How, who believes the answer is answer 2. We've got, who else? Joseph Esia, who believes the advice for him is advice 3. Okay, all right, so it looks like those are all that we have got. Ricky A. Botche, who also believes Ni Anyete's best advice will be advice 3. So thank you very much for sending your solutions or what you think the right advice for Ni Anyete is. I would now ask lawyer Charles Asma to help us with this quiz question and to tell us what the actual right answer is.
Thank you very much. So, viewers and listeners, so the nugget was clear. If you don't have your passport at the time of enrollment of your biometric, will the caseworker reject your application or refuse your application? The starting point is that passport is a mandatory requirement. If you don't provide your passport, the application will be rejected or refused. The question is, what if the passport is with the Home Office? Then that's an exception. So if the passport is with the Home Office, then that will be a basis to challenge a decision to refuse because there was no passport provided. And we know that our friend in the scenario, reason for not providing the passport was that the passport had been taken from him by the Home Office at the border point. And so at the time of his application, the passport was not with him. If it was with the Home Office, then he can challenge the decision not to give him the visa on the basis that there was no passport. And so it's 3.
Okay, so the right answer is advice 3. As Lee Anyete's passport was with the Home Office at the time of the application, he can challenge the Home Office's refusal pursuant to Section 34, subsection 5, CI of the immigration rules. So thank you everybody who tried to answer the questions. The right answer is advice number 3. We have come to the end of our program, and I want to thank you all for joining us today for our very interesting discussion. So you can contact BWF Solicitors on 0208 493 7340. I repeat, 0208 493 7340. You could also find them at 7 Sisters, very close to the underground station. 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, N154NP. I repeat, 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 215 Tottenham High Road. The postcode is N154NP. You can come to them with any legal issues you have, and they will be glad to assist you. If after this you have any queries, any questions, you could also contact Lawyer Charles Asma of BWF Solicitors directly on 07947 636 037. I repeat, this is Lawyer Charles Asma's number, 07947 636 037. Thank you once again for joining us. This has been The Community and the Law. I have been your host for today. I'm Pamela Oakley, and our resource person and guest has been Lawyer Charles Asma. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for explaining to us how to register children as British citizens for free. This is very helpful to a lot of people. So thank you very much. Until next Saturday, have a lovely weekend and a great bank holiday.